Hello, this is Adam Najmanowicz for Sitecore PowerShell Extensions. Today I'm going to show you how to wrap your code into neat functions that you can reuse in different parts of your scripts. We're not going to write anything super ambitious. We're just going to focus on wrapping the functionality that you might want to reuse in other places. So in here I've got a number specified, and from 0 to the number that I've specified, I want to write an example and followed by the number. So what it should do, it should write example 0, example 1, and so on. And that's what it does. Now, that's not very reusable. Let's wrap it in a function. So let's do a function. Print example, provide the number as a parameter, and wrap the remaining code in this function, indent it, and then call the function, because just executing this will not execute the function. This should do exactly the same, which it does. Now, that's really quick and dirty. It does the job, but it doesn't have a number of neat extensions and reusability that PowerShell can give you. First, let's wrap the function as a commandlet so you can use it in pipelines. So first I'm going to change the name. It's not really customary for functions and commandlets to be named this way. Let's keep it consistent with how PowerShell names their commandlets, which is verb and noun. So let's just change it into write example and example as well. Now we want this to be a commandlet, so let's make it a commandlet. So I'm going to switch this into a commandlet by adding a commandlet binding. Parameter, sorry, attribute, and specify that the number is a parameter of this commandlet. Now we don't need this any longer, and effectively you shouldn't really see any difference at this point. Oh, okay, so my there we go, my curly braces didn't match. That's the same. Okay, so we've got it turned into commandlet. Now what we can do with this is we can specify additional informations on the parameters. So let's just leave it with 10 so far still, and let's just say that I want this parameter to be mandatory because, well, getting an example without the number provided doesn't really make sense for me. So I'm going to say that parameter is mandatory. And also I want to specify that this parameter is going to be at position 10, at position 0, which means that I don't have to specify the parameter number explicitly. So now I can execute it and it should do exactly the same, except that I didn't close the attribute. There you go. Now it's in my session, so I can say that I have some additional discoverability. So it actually says that the number is a parameter on this function because the function became a commandlet. What it gives me is it gives me the ability to provide the parameters out of order. I can specify the parameter name and then the value for it. Now, what if I specified something different than a number in here? What if I specified, if I specified a string? Well, it will fail, but it will fail in the wrong place. It will fail inside the function. I want to actually give the user an indication that this parameter should be of specific type. So I'm going to specify that this number is of type int. And while we're at it, let's specify an additional parameter, and let's put it in position 1. And let's just basically customize the word example with a value provided. So this should actually be a string, and this string is going to be to have a default value of example. So if I won't provide this parameter, it will become example by default. So again, I can do this and I can change this without necessarily breaking the function calls that if someone actually used this function, because I can provide the default value. Okay, let's check what happens if I provide the string in a place where a number is expected. That's much better. It says I cannot process argument transformation on parameter number. So I cannot convert the string into type int. So we've got, instead of crashing inside the function, the script will tell us immediately that we've provided the wrong type. Now I can change it to 10 and execute it, but I can also change the example into something different. Let's call it sample. Now I've got sample 0 to 10. That is better. Now I want to do some validation. I actually don't want this to be empty or null, and the current implementation doesn't really guard me from this. So I can add additional validators. And now if I will keep it empty, the script will tell me, okay, this parameter doesn't validate because it's null, because it's empty. So this will actually guard me from some errors, explicit errors, and I can, and PowerShell comes with a number of validators that you can put on your parameters. Now let's say I need to do something before the function executes and then after the function executes. I can specify this functionality easily as well. I can wrap this functionality in a process. So this is going to be executed every time I push something into the commandlet. So if something is coming from the pipeline, it will get executed as many times as the element from pipeline is going to be directed into it. But I can execute something also before it. So I can say begin and write host execute me first, and similarly after the body executes, I can provide additional finishing functionality. No, actually that's too much. So we can say that something is executed before, then as many times as the commandlet is being executed, and then after it. So I can specify that the number is a value from pipeline. And right now I can say that example, let's just default to the standard value, but the number, which is at the position 0 and accepts a value from pipeline, I will just pipe it from another bit of code. So I will just pipe, let's say 1 and then 5, and pipe it to the right example. Now, as expected, this executed first before the anything got started in this commandlet. Then the for each function executed, for each in the process executed twice. One for the number 1, which resulted in 0 and 1, and one for the number 5, which resulted with an example from 0 to 5, and then the AND executed, printing the finished executing. Now, there is some functionality in PowerShell that enables you to decide and to for external code to try and execute only if you actually tested it first. So I'm just going to limit it to 5 and remove the beginning and end. I'm not going to need it in this case, but I want to add this validating functionality. So we can introduce the should process functionality, which will give us additional capabilities on our commandlets. So in my function, in my commandlet function, I need to add to the commandlet binding the indication that it supports this functionality. And set it to true. And now I need to actually leverage this functionality. So if PS commandlet should process, this basically what it means is it will show the user that or indicate that something that could potentially be destructive, obviously not in this case, is executing, and either indicate this on the console or give the user an ability to choose whether they want to execute this bit of code. So I'm going to say that about to print and now number of example. And let me wrap with a curly brace this potentially dangerous code. This should usually be wrapped around code that changes something. Obviously we don't have it here. cmdlets. Yep. Okay. Now, if we just execute it, and if I wrote it right, it would execute. Now in here, it will just run like nothing happened, like we didn't do anything. But since we did write this wrapper, I can now make use of the what if functionality. So what if will not execute the wrapped code, but instead will write what will happen to this message, will indicate to the user what would happen if this bit was executed. So what if performing the operation write example on target about to print 5 examples. And this, on top of this, this will also give us the ability for the user to confirm. So instead of what if, I will write a confirm, and now PowerShell will prompt me whether I actually want to do this, or allow me to deny it from running, and then this bit of functionality inside will not get executed. Now this is much more than those few lines, but it gives you actually a lot of additional functionalities. It gave me the ability to pipe into my function, so make it a fully proper pipeline member. It gave me the ability to test my scripts with confirms and what ifs. Gave me the ability to validate the values and validate the types. So effectively, my write example has much more functionality that you would expect in this small bit of code that is provided to us by the PowerShell infrastructure. Thank you, and see you in the next movie.